good like the Russell Wilson trade.
Oh. Worst trade? I'm not going to say worst trade in football because I always think Herschel Walker going to the Vikings and the Dallas Cowboys recouping all those picks and drafting guys like Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman.
They found a loophole because they released certain guys and then they recoup draft picks.
But this Russell Wilson trade, look, it's on the screen right now. Denver traded 3 players and 5 draft picks to acquire Russell Wilson March 15th, 2022. And they did not sniff the playoffs. By the end of Russell Wilson's tenure, he was benched.
Isn't it crazy? If I would have said 3 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago, hey, 49er fans, Russell Wilson will be a free agent, we would have been all over it. I mean, I'm not everyone who would, and nothing's ever unanimous anymore in this particular world we live in. Everyone would have taken him, though, right?
Considering what they had, yeah.
Like Jimmy G or Russell Wilson.
Right. I mean, that's
a lot of people would have, right?
No brainer.
It's crazy how one guy is popped for steroids and probably out of the league, at least as a backup, and the other guy is so toxic, no one wants him.
So Denver actually won 8 games this year, which I thought...
Miracle.
So they were 8-9 this year. Last year Last year was a lot worse when they got beat.
5-in? That was with Nathaniel
Hackett. Last year they won 5 games, so they were 5-12. 5-12 last season. So they win 13 games with Russell Wilson. They lose 21. 13-21 in the 2 years with Russell Wilson. It's one of the worst trades in modern history. Look, he did sign a 5-year, $242 million deal, and it does not work out. And he's now being just outright released by Sean Payton and the Broncos.
Would you rather have current player Russell Wilson or current player Deshaun Watson? Because both contracts are anchorish, if you will, to an organization.
I need to see more of Deshaun Watson.
So you're willing to give him a little more of a...
I just want to see a little more. He may be cooked mentally. I mean, he just looks like a shell of himself.
Yeah, he does.
He's fumbling the football. He's not accurate. He doesn't look as decisive. It looks like a lot of things are going on through his dome right now. So I still, if Russell Wilson say, because I know Kirk Cousins getting a lot of leeway to Atlanta, right? And we're kicking this around the thread. There's 2 destinations I think Russell could thrive in.
What's that?
One is Washington, going with Dan Quinn, his former defense coordinator with Seattle. And in Atlanta, because of the running game that they have and some of the personnel that they have. Now, I don't know how they're going to, attack offensively with Raheem Mostert. Raheem Morris as their head coach. But there are a couple destinations in which, I don't see Russell Wilson going to the Raiders, right? I don't think the Raiders need to make a move like that. Russell Wilson and everything that he brings to the table, the Raiders don't need that right now. But a team like Washington...
Raider Nation, let's ride.
That just doesn't seem right.
Puke.
Yeah, that would not be good.
$85 million dead cap hit. Most ever in NFL history for the Denver Broncos. $85 million.
That Walmart money.
Kick rocks. That's unbelievable.
$85 million.
I mean, and we're over here crying about Eric Armstead's $28 million in dead cap money.
Right. Just stop it. What is the worst trade that you've ever seen as a sports fan? 888-957-9570.
So The Athletic put together an article, and we're just going to go down, and I'll read the pick, and then you can give a little bit of information on it. The top 10 worst NFL trades of all time. Carson Palmer, number 10. Carson Palmer to the Raiders for a first and second round pick in 2011.
Hugh Jackson special. I got it, though, because Jason Campbell got hurt. The Raiders were trying to enter the playoffs or make the playoffs for the first time in a long time. They had some momentum building. Mike Brown and the Cincinnati Bengals owner was not going to budge whatsoever on Carson Palmer. And you know what? It was a risky move. If I'm the Raiders, I'll probably do it again. I understand. I'd probably do it again.
Was good.
Yeah, exactly. I'd probably do it again if I'm the Raiders.
Also, when you see him in person, because I saw him at the USC Gonzaga game, he is massive. You don't realize how big Carson Palmer is. His head's humongous. All right, number 9, worst trades in NFL history by The Athletic. Brad Johnson to the Washington, now Commanders, for a first, second, and a third.
Yeah. Not the worst.
Yeah,
it isn't. Yeah.
Let me give you another one. Carson Wentz, number 8, to the Colts for a conditional second and third round pick.
I don't know if that's wow. It's just for quarterbacks.
Yeah, the quarterbacks.
Just quarterbacks. Not any other position. That was a bad trade. It didn't work out for them.
He outplayed Jimmy Garoppolo in the rain at Levi's.
Yeah, remember that the monsoon game? The monsoon. He also outplayed Nick Mullins at Levi's Stadium during the pandemic season.
Undefeated against the Niners.
Yeah,
4-0.
He loves Levi's. He loves Levi's. I bet, I think the Colts will do it again, right?
Number 7, Drew Bledsoe to the Bills for a first-round pick, 2002.
Didn't work out for the Bills. He played well, though. It wasn't like he was washed.
55 touchdowns, 43 interceptions. No playoff appearances.
Not the worst team.
No, not the worst. Number 6, Rob Johnson to the Bills for a first and a fourth-round pick in 1998. See, these are all, to me, these are not devastating trades.
No, it didn't cripple your franchise. Your franchise is already bad.
How about this one, number 5? Atlanta sending Brett Favre to the Packers for a first-round pick.
Now, it's a bad trade in hindsight, but at the time,
nobody knew.
He was a second-round pick with the Falcons. Jerry Glanville wasn't going to play him.
Yes.
He goes, hell, he wasn't going to play at Green Bay. They had Don Mikowski. We had Mike Holmgren break that down for us, even though Brett Favre was starting to catch some steam. But they had the Magic Man, Don Mikowski.
The Magic Man.
Remember that? They called him the Magic Man. He beat the Niners in Candlestick Park 21-17.
Phenomenal knowledge. Number 4, Rick Meyer, Notre Dame, baby.
Number 4.
To the Bears for a first-round pick in 1997.
Oh, my gosh. That was an awful trade.
He
was terrible. The Bears just whiffing. He was terrible to Seahawks.
He was not good with the Seahawks. Number 3, Chris Chandler to the Bucks for a first-round pick in 1990.
He actually made a Super Bowl with the Falcons.
I think that the Trey Lance trade is worse than a lot of things. Quite honestly,
Trey Lance better be on this list.
He's not. Jeff George, number 2.
Number 2.
To the Falcons for 2 first-rounders and a third.
Not bad. That's a bad trade. But Jeff George had a lot of talent. He had a rocket arm. These trades are in these days.
This is
just
the Athletic. This is not Joe Shasky.
Right.
All right. And the number 1, Russell Wilson to Denver. 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a fifth, and 3 players.
The Trey Lance trade is not on here.
How is the Trey Lance trade not on here?
The Trey Lance trade should be on here. Come on, let's be real.
I'm with you.
Let's be real.
Honestly, B. Look me in the eye. Is the Trey Lance trade the worst trade in Bay Area history? In terms of getting literally nothing out of it?
So
I know you got Brock Purdy, but throw that to the side. Just the trade itself.
So the Trey Lance trade is one of the worst in Bay Area sports history. The Jason Richardson trade is one of the worst in Bay Area sports history.
Bummy shoulder.
Chris Webber trade is one of the worst trades in Bay Area history.
For Gugliotta and then eventually Donyell Marshall.
Right, exactly. In fact, Robert Parrish.
Bimbo Coles for Tim Hardaway.
Yeah, he has some bad trades with the Golden State Warriors. Trey Lance is right up there. It's right up there.
He played 2 games.
He played 3 games. Three games and a quarter. We don't even know what he's going to be now. I did read a rumor yesterday that the Vikings may be all in on Trey Lance.
Oh, my goodness.
To make him. I do want to see him get a shot. So we don't even know what he is.
There's more draft capital being exchanged in trades for Trey Lance than games played.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
But when I watched him, I didn't see total bust. I don't know why. I don't even want to go back down that well of trying to defend him against the Houston Texans in a do-or-die game where Jimmy Garoppolo would have been proud of that football game, right? He would have been proud of that game. He threw for 250 in that game, and we're talking about he's a bust. Like
Lance has to be on this list.
Nathan Peterman is still in the league.
Nathan Peterman. Thank you, John Gruden, for keeping Nathan Peterman.
Trey Lance has never looked that bad, has he?
I don't know, man. Did you see Dak Prescott, his QB1? Did you see his haircut?
Oh, with the goatee?
It was hilarious.
The goatee? Just bald in the goatee?
Yeah.
Looks like a true trucker.
Home.
Looks like a true trucker.
Tells a lot of people to go home. He's telling Chris Paul to go home. He tells others to go home.
I would be careful with that.
Who, me?
No, Kuru.
Well, hey, I'm going to be going home soon.
Yeah, we're all going to be going home soon. We're all going to be going home. I feel it at the top, man. I'm like, man, I'm getting a little thin up here, man.
I'll tell you one thing I'm not going to do. I am not going to do the Joe Buck hair plugs. It's not happening for your boy. Nope.
How much are hair plugs?
I'm good off
You should look into that into the sales department. Maybe get a sponsor.
Hi, I'm Bonte Hill.
We're plugged in on 95.7.
and when you want plugs, you go to El Salvador like I did.
Sam is the only one of us that doesn't need the plugs, probably.
No.
But all of us could do it.
Is Trey Joey? You're not
Trey Lance needs
fan.
to go home.
Is Trey Lance? Trey does need to go home. Is Trey Lance the worst trade? Like, honest to God, they got nothing for him.
I got crushed. I think Bonte quote tweeted me like last year when I said it was the worst trade in NFL history just because of the value alone that the Niners got nothing in return. They give up 3 first-round picks.
I quote tweeted you.
You did.
What was the quote tweet?
I think you tried to dunk on me. It's okay.
No, not with trying to dunk on you.
I still stand by it. You got nothing. Diddly poo. And you gave up 3 first-rounders. I know one of them was a swap. It's so bad. And the Athletic not having it on there, like, do they even do research on this?
Yeah, no, this list was terrible.
Let me make sure I cite my work.
Brad Johnson on there. Like, what are we doing?
Brad Johnson, really? Like, no, that's Brad Johnson. We still say, well, you can't win a Super Bowl with a Brad Johnson. So that tells you where Brad Johnson was thought about as a quarterback. Like, he wasn't thought about as an elite quarterback. So how can you? No, the Trey Lance deal was.
This was written by Chris Branch.
I don't know who that is.
I don't either.